be calm and there with you. So that's my relation. And with Mom's Co, I think your night creams are too good. That is something that I've been using. And my kids love Baby Chakra Mango hand wash. Thank you so much.
Alive even at 37. So it's been quite a fantastic thing. I have a 1-year-old preemie baby who's now alone at home with her daddy. So he's the better half who takes care of baby most of the time while I'm at work. So it's my first event here and I'm very excited to be here.
Myself Namrata, and my account has been hacked, and so I deleted the account somehow, and I'll come up with a new account with many more followers. And before it was Chakra, their events and Mom's Co product are really good. Thank you.
हाय आई एम रिया रॉय. हाँ, तो मैं थोड़ा हिंदी से बात कर रही हूँ बिकॉज मुझे कंफर्टेबल नहीं लग रहा है इंग्लिश, इसलिए. तो मेरी बोल सकते हैं बट ऑल प्रोडक्ट इज बेबी चक्र, लिप बाम एंड बेबी वॉइस, शैम्पू, एवरीथिंग. क्रेडिट गोज टू त्रिशा. दीदी ये यूज करो, दीदी ये यूज करो, एंड देन पूरे
Good, thank you.
Sonali मैं solo करो.
And now I experience for so once you're done with the event, go and but before that, I would like to talk about our
लोग भी है.
Let's welcome Sonali Bendre. Big round of applause, please.
Thanks for making it here. I'm excited to chat with you today.
Thank you so much for being a wonderful audience, guys. Let's please sit. I'm sure
grab a seat.
Look at Sonali. She's going to come up.
पीछा.
Can you also give like a big round of applause to her?
Is there any particular seating?
Guys, let's give a big round of applause to Sonali. Until then, we can start with a round of introductions.
And the MD and CEO of Edelweiss. She is one of the finest financial minds in the country. She shares her anecdotes on Twitter and has a cult following on LinkedIn. She has also 7 months old called Remy.
Let's give her a big round of applause. Now I'm going to take the mic to introduce Naya. Naya Sagi is a Harvard Business School graduate, a Tata Trust and Fulbright scholar. She's also the co-founder of the Good Glam Group, founder of Baby Chakra, and is one of the 10 unique. She is an active angel investor, especially for women-led ventures. Guys, who needs money? Needs to be. She's also mom to a 4-year-old Arya. Let's give her a big round of applause.
Malika Sadani is the founder and CEO of the Mom's Co. She exits in India and is considered one of the top women entrepreneurs in the country. She has 2 daughters, Myra and Saina, and shares her entrepreneurial journey with candid stories on her gram. Big round of applause, please. Any of you want to know her anecdotes on the Baby Chakra app? Do download the app and follow her journey while she raises little Gianna and support
Very soon. Before we get okay, now before we get into some, so I would want Sonali to take the mic and answer the first question.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good evening, everybody.
Tell
These hotcake questions are the scary ones. Now I'm already getting stressed.
Tell us
Can we
something
not
that...
start with others first?
Okay,
I'll get an
I'm
idea
gonna
from
answer
the
that question.
entrepreneurs and the angel investors and all of them. You know, they'll have some great answers and maybe I'll be able to slide in a few there.
Okay, I'll do one thing. I'll answer the first one for you and then you can take the lead. Okay? Tell us something that no one knows about you. Now, like, no one knows this about me, guys. This is like first time ever. I love collecting cookbooks. I don't cook, but I love collecting cookbook, guys. Okay, so now it's Sonali's turn.
I think everybody knows everything about me.
That's one thing, I'm sure. Like, you have it on top of your mind.
No, I'm sure there is, and it's a reason. It's a reason why nobody knows about it. Considering the journey that I've had and the amount of years I've been in public eye and with the social media now, it's very difficult to have things which are not out there. So please, if there is something, then let it remain there.
Okay, Malika, would you like to answer that question?
So, what I do is that, people keep asking me the question saying, how do you sort of switch off completely? What people don't know is I switch off by cleaning cupboards. And like there's this thing in the house that if I'm cleaning cupboards, everybody from my husband to my kids stays away. Because they're like, today is the day when mommy or Malika needs to be left alone because she's cleaning the cupboard. So that's what I do.
I can relate.
I can't.
Radhika, would you like to answer that question first?
So people ask me the same thing since I have a 7-month-old. I'm just going to add to Malika. I'm OCD about how dals and masalas are labeled in my kitchen. And I drive my help crazy, and tomorrow I'm planning to spend the Sunday making sure all the dals and masalas are labeled correctly. I'm embarrassed to say this, sorry guys. And I do it while my 7-month-old sits on the high chair and watches this. And he's a guy, so he learned good habits, right?
Really good. So, like I said, this is a place for unfiltered conversation and judgment-free zone. Radhika, nobody's gonna judge you. So now it's Daya's turn to answer that question.
I think I've shared this before, but it comes as a surprise still. I was a terrible student in high school. I did not give my accounts exam. I pretty much almost failed math, and I was terrible. So I think when, my mother today, she still tells out, she's like, I don't know how you did all the studying you did, and the fact that you're even making it somewhere, it's a big surprise and a shock to the system actually in the family. So yeah, that I think is my secret.
Yes. So anybody wants to take the mic from the audience? Like, would you like to tell us something? Nimarta, would you like to tell us something that nobody knows?
Go for it,
I think this relates to most moms here. 40 time is me time. So once I go in, I'm there for nearly 45 minutes to 1 hour, and everyone wonders what does she do in the toilet. There's no water running, there's no flush, there's nothing, but she's in like 45 minutes, 1 hour, sometimes 1.5 hours. So always, always.
That's so candid. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, so my other question is, tell us about your most inspiring moment as a mom. Would you recommend becoming a mom to somebody? Like whoever has the mic.
You gave me the tough question first. So I'll answer the second one, and I'm a finance person, so we add disclaimers to everything. I would recommend becoming a mom to everybody, of course, but I would also say that nothing you do prepares you for it, especially the 4th trimester or post-mom, and I've just sort of lived that. So I think with men, when, you're pregnant, you're conceiving, they're like, oh, you're going to have a baby, it's going to change your life, and it sounds really awesome. But with women, it's like, oh, your world will change, and it does, and it's almost with a sense of doom and ominousness. And so I would recommend it to everyone, but no one gives you the right advice, just know that. So go into it. Well, what was the first question? What's my most inspiring moment?
As a mom.
I think so when I went home during lockdown, my mother is a full-time working woman, runs a school, and during lockdown, she was managing the house, taking care of me while being pregnant, taking care of all my father's random needs, cooking pasta for my brother even though there was no help and my father wanted to eat dal, and and managing her school and doing it without complaining. And I mean, this is everybody's mother's story. This is everyone's story. It's just so bloody inspiring what moms can do.
I remember reading that on your gram, and like that followed with how you took Renu to your office. So that's so good to know. Sonali, would you like to?
So for me, mine is a 17-year-old now, so I'm already feeling a bit of distance from the normal hecticness of. Oh, thank you. So having said that, there have been, I think for me, when I was most proud of, what was the question on that? The most proud moment of being a mother.
Yeah, inspiring.
Yeah, I think for me the inspiring moment was the way my son handled and understood the fact when he was told what his mother has got, and he got the idea, he understood what it was, and the way he accepted it and in fact became my strength. I felt like, okay, I must have done something right, and that for me was one of those moments. And would I advise, recommend being a parent? Look, for me it's been, you know what, I think this question is asked to women or to parents because once you've had the children, you are in love with them. So it takes a bit of time, but we all eventually do fall in love with them. And then, you know, you'll always say, yeah, I mean, how can you not recommend it? So I agree with you on this, that it is great if you want, but you know what? It's not the, oh my God, this is what it should be. If you're happy with a puppy, I think I can understand that also.
Malika, would you like to answer that question?
So, you know, for me, I would just like to say that, would I recommend someone being a parent? Yes. But just, you know, I was not the mother who baby was born and I had all these lovely eyes and teary eyes and all of that. I had none. So she was born, and I remember the doctors asking me this question and saying that, you know, would you like to sort of hug her? And then, of course, there was a concept of straight to chest, so I did take her there. And then I was like, please go clean her up, right? And while they were doing, I remember my husband, he held Myra. And they had like this little moment where I was just looking at them and I'm saying, oh shit, I'm supposed to be the mother, right? So this moment has to be mine, not his. But like they clearly shared the moment. And trust me, there was a day almost after 4 days of what Myra was born, when both Mohit and my mom were there, mom was there, and we were in London at that point of time. So they both left us and said that we are both going, and they just fled away from the house, and it was just me and Myra alone. And that was the day when I actually bonded with her, right? So I think I became the mother on that day, not by the day when I actually gave her the birth, right? So I think let's just normalize this, saying that it will take us some time to become mother to children. And for me, I think the most inspiring day I had was, you know, it's really surprising that when my 5-year-old, and this was when she was 5, and I had a really rough day, and this was, you know, during the time of lockdown, and I just came back and I was cribbing to the core, saying that, you know, this hasn't happened, this happened, and this hasn't happened at work, this didn't go through right, this didn't go through right. And I had this full conversation, and my 5-year-old just turned and said, okay, so then can't you do all of this tomorrow? So I was like, you know, yeah, I can. She just do it tomorrow, then why are you like sort of burning your blood over it right today? And that I think was like a moment of feedback, a moment of when you sort of sit back and, you know, kind of hear the conversation and you're like, okay, maybe we did something right to kind of have them have this clarity to share with us, right? So that was actually a day when I really felt proud as a mother.
Sometimes kids tend to give the best advice, right? Like, that's what happens. Yes.
Faye D'Souza is the face of off the top of my head.
Thank you for sharing that, Faye. The next question. Okay. Okay. Now this one's very interesting, and you know it is for our audience. Tell us one piece of advice for every mom that can help through. Okay, I'm gonna ask that question to Faye. Would you recommend being a mom to somebody?
Okay. So, you want the popular answer or the honest answer?
The right one. Like we started with this is a place for unfiltered conversation.
Wait, honest answer, honest, just like you are honest, just honest answer.
Okay, so this is what I really know. Okay, with the caveat that I'm still in the first year, okay, guys. And I'm also not young anymore. So I'm not young and I'm in the first year. And I've seen to grow. I've never in my life taken up a job with zero training and such high stakes when you screw up, right? Every single decision seems like life and death. Are you going to do formula? Are you going to do this? Are you going to do so? Oh my god, there's plastic in that. It's just so scary. Everything is so scary, and you can't see. At least, let me be honest.
Excuse me. You know, when it's been 17 years. My son is 17 years old now, and I did not have another child, though every time people would say that, you know, the sibling is important, the company is important, and you know what, after the parents are gone, they have each other, and you know, my husband and me, we were like, listen, what do we want to do? And eventually we were like, listen, we have this one child and we really want time for ourselves where we can enjoy him and then have our time also. Because by the time you finish with one child, you're getting ready and kind of, you know, the responsibility of the other child. Not that as a parent the responsibility never kind of gets over. You'll always be a parent. But definitely there's a bit of an easing after a certain point, because after a certain point you know that, okay, they can now talk to me. So, you know, they can tell me what is happening. So it's that beginning period when they cannot express and you don't know what they're doing in the play school. Are they telling me this correctly or not? That time is a very fearful time in that sense. But later on, that bit eases out. So the choice was that I would want a life. So if, you know, after I'm gone, if he'll find a family, he'll find a partner, or he'll find friends, but whatever. I'm not going to kind of think of what happens to this child after I'm gone and get another child in. So that we were very clear about, and I have a very well-adjusted, I would say, teenager who's an only child, and yet not yet more empathetic than a lot of other, more compassionate than a lot of other children that I see. And I do think it's a myth that, you know, children need siblings and otherwise they will be selfish and stuff like that. That's what you're told. And I do feel that we could give all our attention to him and he could get the quality time, and that made him very secure. So somewhere I think there is an advantage to a single child also, which nobody really talks about.
Thank you so much for that. I think I needed that advice.
I can recall to play this to all the moms and mother-in-laws. I'm just getting that.
Basically, if you're not going to change a diaper,